is the brand new album by the Rolling Stones. It's their brand new album, Hackney Diamonds. So Hackney Diamonds is the 24th British and 26th American studio albums by English rock band the Rolling Stones. That's how old they are. They released it regionally, their earlier albums. It was released on October 20th, 2023. It is the first studio album of original material by the band since 2005's A Bigger Bang. They did have 2016 studio album Blue and Lonesome, but that was a blues cover album. This is the first album following the 2021 death of their drummer, Charlie Watts. Eric, your thoughts on Hackney Diamonds, the brand new Rolling Stones album?
I mean, I know I got ridiculed on that episode where I was like, why are these old guys making music? And I had to say, like, I'm putting my foot in my mouth because this album I really enjoyed. I put this on a lot. I could not stop listening to it. Here is a perfect example of like when I was trying to explain on that episode of like if you were at this age of like service in the music world, the Rolling Stones, legends, like on the brink of death, right? Like literally knocking at death's door. This is a perfect example. Like 2005 was the last album that they made
For original music, yeah.
For original music, and it just shows that they could have easily have made another album and it would have sold because the diehard Rolling Stones fan would definitely have bought it. But no, I'm not taking back my hate. Like, okay, first of all, I don't hate old people. Okay, let's get that straight. I'm chasing dragonflies. Okay. But what I'm saying is that here's a perfect scenario of it's like they waited this year, like this long gap. They came out with an album and they made sure that all the songs were good, right? Like, yes, there were weaker songs on this album. I wouldn't say it's a perfect album, but it's pretty damn good. It's a pretty damn good album. This just shows the veterancy of this band because the flow of this album, I would say, is perfect.
Yes.
I don't know. Like, I dare anybody discuss this with me or challenge me on this. But like, first of all, Angry, perfect song. And I love it when the opener song is the
lead single.
Is the lead single because it kind of like doesn't give it away because there's like a certain flow of the album. I personally love Get Close. I think that song, the second song on the album, sick song. Dreamy Skies, something about the Rolling Stones, they can really make a good country song.
Yeah.
Wild Horses was probably one of my
favorites. So good.
This song is like a close, like it's close to Wild Horses for me.
Oh shit. Okay.
100%.
Okay. That's big.
I think that the best song on this album for like global wide, I think is Sweet Sounds of Heaven.
With
Lady Gaga.
What a good song.
Oh my God. I was sitting there and then when it comes down and then it kind of just sits at that level for a bit and then it builds back up. I was like, oh my God, the song's not over. This is sick.
Yeah.
Right?
It's got that sort of like Layla vibe, like outro type of thing.
Yeah, but it was done so well. And Lady Gaga is featured perfectly on this. Right? Like perfectly on this. And okay, there's just so much stuff I want to talk about this album. I thought The Closer was a cool song, the Rolling Stones Blues. That was a sick ending too for the album because it was like,
that's a Muddy Waters cover. And to be honest, I would have preferred Sweet Sounds of Heaven being the closer because that is like I think that is the natural choice. But if you're going to add a song at the end, it definitely has to be a blues cover. For the Rolling Stones. So yeah, it's really
and what I liked about that, and yes, I knew it was a cover, but I loved it because it kind of shows the like, you know, if we're gonna like die in the next year or two, like this is like a perfect finisher because it's like this is the type of music that they got into playing at the very beginning, and this is what we're gonna go out with, and I thought that was kind of like a cool homage to that. I thought the guitar solos were sick. Like
I
Keith
can't
Richards can
believe those guitar solos were even played by Keith Richards. To be honest,
Keith Richards can still
and
play.
like Ronnie Wood, like I can't believe he's playing these solos.
I know, and I just felt like just the song wasn't overproduced. It was produced perfectly. Like I think that this is a really good album, and like I wouldn't say it's their best album because I really like.
Yeah,
I don't
obviously.
know. Some girls definitely has a spot in my heart. Let It Bleed, Sticky Fingers, Exile on Main Street,
Excellent.
right? Like here's a bunch of albums that these guys knock out of the park, and just to show that at their age they're still giving it.
Yeah. Interesting thing. I had to do a bit of digging here, but they did have not a lot of features, but they did have some features on this album which are not very upfront. Track 2, Get Close. It's actually featuring Elton John on piano, which is
Sick.
hilarious because like you would think if you get Elton John on a track, you want him to sing on it to be from a commercials perspective, but he just showed up
Mm.
and played piano on it, which is like
I like that. I
that's pretty
dig
cool.
that.
Fourth track, Bite My Head Off, is featuring Paul McCartney on bass, just bass,
Ooh.
right? Like the choices that they've made of these features are actually just like really cool. They're not doing
Mhm.
it to be like, selling records or anything. It's literally just come in and jam with us and fuck the commercial part of it.
Mhm.
Track 8, Live by My Sword, also features Elton John just on piano. And then Sweet Sounds of Heaven, obviously featuring Lady Gaga on vocals, but it also features Stevie Wonder on keyboards and piano.
Ooh, damn.
Yeah.
Damn, that's a pretty good
Yeah.
lineup, and I just love the humbleness of that.
Yeah.
Like we just want you to play piano, and these guys like Elton John. I feel like he's definitely Elton John. Like he wouldn't have his songs and like by singing and playing the piano, but I feel like at his heart he's a piano player,
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
right? And I find that's really cool when it's just like no, I don't need to sing on this album. I'm content playing piano
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
for the band, and that's really that just like amped up this
Yeah.
album for me.
Jason Dragonfly says that Elton does a piano song on Lil Nas X's album also. Yeah, I'm surprised. Like, and this isn't the only isolated case. Elton John actually just shows up and plays piano on a lot of like different artists' albums, which is hilarious to me. That's actually like you would think you'd want him to sing, but he just like plays piano wherever he wants. I am thoroughly surprised that this album is anywhere near good. When we were discussing whether to listen and talk about this album when we first heard about it, I was like, there's no way this is going to be good. Like, there is absolutely
I
no way the Rolling Stones can still play.
I thought it was going to be mediocre.
I thought it was going to be like horseshit. I was like, these old people, there's no way they can still play as a band. They are too old. But I put on my earbuds, I hit play, and holy shit, it sounds good. Angry, like okay, none of these songs outside of maybe Sweet Sounds of Heaven are like, I would say like a classic Rolling Stones song. Like it's not like a Sympathy for the Devil or Satisfaction type of song where it's going to be iconic, but they don't try to be something that they aren't. They are the Rolling Stones and they play to their strengths. And when you put the first track on, the bass, the drums, they're all big sounding. Like I had to go back and listen to other records. I'm like, why does this sound so good? Like, am I missing something? And I listened to like what are the records that we did? Like Olivia Rodrigo's album. I had to go back. I'm like, is this sounding better than Olivia Rodrigo's album? I thought that was good. And I listened to that album. I was like, this is garbage compared to the Rolling Stones album sonically. I'm not talking about the songwriting, but like the real drums, the real bass, the real guitars.
You don't get that much
It just
anymore.
sounded so heavy and so raw. I was like, holy shit, this is what organic. I honestly wouldn't be surprised if this was recorded on tape rather than like a digital mixer. It's like
Yeah. I was
this
thinking
is
of
so
that the
good.
whole album. Because the thing with these kind of guys like Eric Clapton, the Beatles, like these guys don't play like, all right, guitar player, come on in and do your thing. Like they're playing live on the track. Like
Yeah,
everybody's on the stage in the studio, I mean, and they're just record they just hit record and they let them do their thing.
yeah,
And there's something magical about that which you don't get in most modern music nowadays.
yeah. When you
And
quantize the shit out of it,
yeah.
it's it's just I don't know. This record just thoroughly surprised me. It sounds so good sonically. I think songwriting wise, there's nothing too there's nothing new about it. You're not gonna go into this record
Hmm.
thinking like, oh, I'm gonna hear something I've never heard before. I think most of these songs, like, it's pretty much in the Rolling Stones wheelhouse.
Hmm.
But I don't know. It's just good songs that are, except for the guitar solos. I thought the guitar solos on this record were just like phenomenal.
It's insane. I actually couldn't. I had to look it up because I couldn't believe it. I'm like, there's no way that he's playing these guitar solos, and sure enough, he is.
Yeah.
And I don't even know how he's still like walking, let alone like waking up in the morning, I should say. But man, like what I loved about this is most of the songs I can actually see them playing live. Like I
Yes.
could see like when you see Mick Jagger moving around on stage, I don't know if he can actually move around like that anymore, but I can actually see him moving around like with angry, like just like doing his little like dancing on stage. Like it just gave me that just this is the Rolling Stones.
Yeah.
This isn't the Rolling Stones old. Like it felt like this was them in their prime. Like
Yeah.
that's what was crazy about this.
Yeah. No, it's just such a good album.
Mm,
And to me, like, really, this album ends on Sweet Sounds of Heaven. I really like when I
mm,
listen to Rolling Stone Blues, the closing track, the Muddy Waters cover. To me, that's like a bonus track when I really
mm.
listen to this whole thing. Um, but yeah,
I
no,
could see
yeah,
that.
yeah, yeah,
I could, yeah, I could see that. But at a blues musician's heart,
yeah,
here, that's like the perfect ending
yeah,
for
yeah,
me.
yeah.
So,
No, but I do like the idea of it being like this is the Rolling Stones' final statement. If it happens to be the final statement, like
mhm.
they end on a Muddy Waters cover, like that is the perfect way to close off the discography of the Rolling Stones.
Mm, man, that's like an incredible feat.
Yeah.
How many albums was that again?
24 British and 26 American.
That's insane.
Yeah, it's a lot. Um, but yeah, I mean the one track, if you're going to listen to this album and you need one song, I'm gonna go Sweet Sounds of Heaven being the best
Mhm.
song on this album.
I think I would have to agree with you. Me personally, I think Get Close because it had that like Beast of Burden
Mm,
kind of feel to it,
yeah,
which I love that song. Um, but I would agree. Like Sweet Sounds of Heaven, Lady Gaga's phenomenal. Like they just
yeah,
match very well.
yeah, yeah,
I feel like Rolling Stones too is the perfect band. Like usually you have like what Chasing Dragonfly said. You had Elton John playing piano on Little Nas's. Like you have these like features and all that. But I feel like the Rolling Stones really mesh well with any artist.
yeah,
Like I feel like there was that one documentary that they had. Um, I don't remember what it was called, but like every song on it, it was like a live performance.
oh,
Every song on it, they had somebody like different. They had like Christina Aguilera come out or something. I have to look this up quickly here.
yeah, yeah. The Rolling Stones, if you just bring in anyone, like they mesh really well in this band, and just like I just don't know how they pulled this off.
I know. I don't understand it either, but they did. They honestly did. I can't find it.
Nah, it's
I'll
alright.
I'll put it on the Discord. But yeah,
Anyways, final thoughts, ratings on Hackney Diamonds by the Rolling Stones, Eric.
I I'm gonna give it a 10.
What? A
I'm gonna
10.
give it a 10 out of 10.
Holy sh. Really?
Yeah,
A 10?
a 10 out of 10.
Oh my
I'm
god.
10 out of 10. I'm standing where I am.
Wow, that puts it. I think it's your only 10 this year.
Is it?
I think it's your only 10 for this year.
That's crazy. Yeah, 10 out of 10. I loved. I could not stop listening to this album.
Yeah, it's so
Like
good.
it was good. It was really good.
Wow, a 10. Jeez. I mean, I'm gonna put it high. Also, I'm gonna give it a 9 out of 10. For this record, because I don't think when I listen to like music, I always want to hear something new, like something that I haven't heard before and need some sort of innovation somewhere. But this is the Rolling Stones we're talking about at the ripe old age of like 86 at this point. So you should have to temper that expectation a bit. But what they do is just, I don't think anyone does it any better. Um, and for what it is, it's a 9 out of 10 for me. It's just a great record. It really is a great
I,
record.
I even think it comes down to even the name of the record, Hackney Diamonds. Like that's a cool name
Yeah.
for a record too.
Yeah.
So yeah, Rolling Stones, man, they do it well. Check it out.
It's crazy. Yeah, this is a great record. I can't believe it was good. I'm just so surprised. Okay, perfect. So yeah, that was our discussion on Hackney Diamonds, the brand new album by the Rolling Stones. I have to import this image here, but for those of you who are following along with us every single week on these albums, the album that we are going to be discussing
is our favorite band in the world.
Yeah, surprise, surprise. For those of you who are here on Twitch, you're going to see an image just randomly show up, and I'm going to resize it. It is the brand new re-recorded album by Taylor Swift, 1989, Taylor's version. I don't think it's much of a surprise we're gonna be discussing this one, but it's a lot of tracks. I really dislike that these re-recorded versions have like so many unreleased tracks on it.
I would almost like, I dig the idea. Like I'm not against bands coming out with like their vault songs, if you will, but I just have this like, why don't you just come out with them in volumes? Just like the Vault Volume 1, the Vault Volume 2.
Yeah.
Like there's no rhyme or reason why you couldn't do that.
You should have really been 1989 Taylor's version, which is just the original track list or like whatever, rearranged however you wanted it, and then 1989 Taylor's version, the Vault, with like all the extra stuff. It really should have been like that.
Absolutely.
But here we are. We're going to be talking about this album next week. So,
you know, it makes me beg this question, and I'm going to leave you guys with this thought. But with this Vault stuff, I'm very intrigued to see if, like, what are the Vault recordings on Folklore?
Ooh, but I don't. No, the Vault recordings on Folklore is Evermore. It's the next album.
Is that what it is?
Yeah, it's the next album.
Is that what it is? Oh, okay.
Yeah,
okay.
It's definitely the next album.
Then disregard what I just said.
It's definitely the next album. The next album was just a bunch of B-sides from the songs that didn't make it onto Folklore.
Okay. That's why I wasn't as good.
James Dragonfly says because the Vault songs aren't good enough for an album. I mean, I guess, but like if you just called it the Vault, I think people would get that these are the leftover songs. And then people wouldn't be as harsh on those songs too, because they know, you're releasing it for the true fans. You're not releasing it because you think it's the best songs, right?
Exactly.
Okay. Anyways, that's the album we're gonna be discussing next time, 1989 Taylor's version, and that's the podcast. Thanks everyone for tuning in for another week. This is the Crossroads Music Podcast. We're here live at twitch.tv/the Crossroads Music Podcast every 10 p.m. Every Monday at 10 p.m. ET, 7 p.m. PT. We have our YouTube channel, we have Spotify, we have Apple Music, all the places where you get your podcast. We could call it Leftovers, as Chasing Dragonfly says. Taylor's version, 1989 Taylor's version, The Leftovers. You know what? That's
amazing.
Very punk rock if you're to do that.
Yeah, that's actually kind of cool.
That's
I
very
dig
cool.
that name.
The Leftovers.
Mhm.
Anyways, thanks for tuning in, everyone. That is it for this week, and we will catch you all next time.